Hello everyone. I hope that you guys are swell and amazing, because today I'm not going to be talking about things that are swell and amazing, but the good part is it'll be cute drawings on the side of me to cushion the uncomfortability of this conversation. So we're starting with Trix. That's all I really have to say. She's adorable. Please wait and see how she comes out. But I wanted to talk about something that I have been experiencing for over a year now, almost over a year now. And it's really impacting me in pretty much. I'll also be having interventions of ASAP Science, the video that I watched, due to external forces. So at this point, you can pretty much just call it SDA, sleep deprivation.
Spectacular happens to the brain. And it turns out that this brain activity while you're zoning out may not only be good for you, it might actually be essential for your brain health.
Breakthrough research took a group of otherwise healthy people and first tracked their brain activity with EEGs and fMRI scans after having a normal amount of sleep, and then brought them into the lab overnight and kept them awake the entire time, followed by another day of brain scans to see what was going on after sleep deprivation.
When it reaches certain decibels that I can't really focus, sleep, or do pretty much anything because it's so damn loud. And so this is not something that only happens while I'm asleep though. This is something that happens while I'm working. This is something that happens while I'm studying.
And that was most surprising. Every time a person would zone out or lose attention, cerebrospinal fluid would flow out of the brain and then return 1 to 2 seconds later. And this would happen over and over every time the person zoned out. But perhaps even more interesting is that this flushing is almost identical to something that happens in a very specific window of sleep.
By now, you probably understand that every time you fall asleep, your brain runs through specific cycles. Your brain goes from light sleep to deep sleep to REM sleep, where you dream. But this deep sleep section is super important for cleaning out your brain. Yes, literally cleaning it out. There's something called the glymphatic system, which is a disposal system for your brain. When you hit deep sleep, your brain cells actually shrink, and so the space between them grows larger, which allows cerebrospinal fluid to flow through more easily and flush out any waste. Why is there waste there even to begin with? Like, what is it? Well, besides the fact that scientists are finding more and more plastic in our brains than any other organ, that's a video for another day.
Rest, and luckily, well, unluckily for me, that is the part of sleep that I'm missing out on. That's also why I haven't been able to like really get anything, like do anything new with this or in life, because I genuinely don't have any energy. Like once it's quiet in the house, that's when I'm able to sleep, and that's normally midday when most people are being productive, going to the gym, getting groceries, doing things like that. But I genuinely don't even trust myself behind the wheel because of how sleep deprived I am. I wake up out of sleep over 8 hours and still am tired, because the part of sleep that I'm missing out on, we all know that there's the stages. First, you're obviously awake, then there's REM sleep, then there's the core sleep, and then there's deep sleep. I have not been getting more than 20 to 40 minutes of deep sleep per night, and it's just now reaching 40. Like, I was only able to realize this because I luckily got an Apple Watch for Christmas, and I've been using it to track my sleep, and it's been incredibly helpful in a lot of other areas too, because I'm very health conscious and I love being healthy and alive. So I, like using that to track anything like that. So I've been told from my apps that I have not been able to get good deep sleep, which there is an ASAP Science video that just recently came out that talks about deep sleep, because of obviously we're all breathing in plastic, right? So they're finding more plastic in the brain, so this is actually crucial for when your neurons separate, for the expulsion of the plastic in your brain. And it also is just good for rest and recovery. That's also why I haven't been able to like push myself when I'm working out either, because I'm not actually letting my muscles recover with the sleep that I get. In fact, it's actually telling me how many interruptions or how many times I wake up throughout my sleep. Keep it in mind, there has not been a time where I've woken up less than 10 times a night.
Your brain breaks down all sorts of chemicals and proteins throughout the day that are totally normal and useful, but can create byproducts like beta amyloid and tau proteins that, if not kept in check, can lead to long-term issues. For example, their accumulation is actually linked to Alzheimer's disease. So the brain flushes fluid in and out of the brain during deep sleep in order to stop these from building up.
Turns out, zoning out may actually be doing something very similar.
Because I have a job that requires me to be up in the daytime, and I also am more productive when the world is awake. I don't like to do things that, I'm not a night owl, and I was when I was a teenager, like most people, but now that I'm literally not even that much older than I was when I was a teenager, I just cannot function with knowing that most of my day is ate up, and I have to now get my PM brain to want to be as productive as my AM brain, knowing that my AM brain has way more vitality. So yeah, that's something that's also been like really terrible for me. And I have no idea if we moved on to Captain Crunch, but here's Captain Crunch. I made him so youthful, so attractive. I was definitely not pleased with his original design. It's very boring and flat, and he's a very lavish pirate. Like most pirates I know are not bums. That's the first word that came to my brain, but they're not bums. They're not spiffy as Captain Crunch is. Anyway, so yeah, so I can give a little bit of a showing and show you what that looks like for me. So the awake time is 1 hour 29 minutes. My REM sleep, so that's rapid eye movement, while your body is just trying to settle down, that is 1 hour and 23 minutes. My core sleep is 3 hours and 57 minutes. And then deep actually only rests at 33. So for the normal human adult, regardless of sex or anything like that, you need about 1.5 to 2 hours of deep sleep per night. I have not gotten that, at least from what my watch says. I just got this a couple weeks ago, and so it's only showing me the past few days, but for the past few days it's been like this. Pretty much they said the average amount of sleep that I get is less than 8 hours, and it typically has, I want to go into and see the interruptions, but last night I had 11 interruptions in the middle of my sleep. So that means that I was fully woken up out of whatever stage of sleep I was in 11 times. Now, for those who don't know, I am deeply into my fitness. I'm deeply into like my freaking master's degree program. I also have a fucking job that I'm doing. I do this for the free skis, but still it's a passion. It's something for me to do, and also something that I really enjoy, and I probably won't ever stop doing. So I have those things going. I also like to be around my friends, my family, but I don't even trust myself behind the wheel. Like, when I tell you I'm not getting any fucking sleep, I don't trust myself behind the wheel. I feel like my brain starts to like get foggy. You know how it's right before you start to daydream? That's exactly what I go through. So on the road, do you know how effing terrifying it is to be on the road and you're daydreaming, trying to lock your eyes into order? Because you already know driving in itself is mundane. And so it's like, you're kind of just going from point A to point B. It's pretty boring. You're pretty much looking at roads. There's nothing to do. Like, yes, you can play your music. Yes, you can, I mean, I wouldn't say text and drive, but I know people do. But you can distract yourself, but it's pretty mundane. So my ADHD brain is just gonna clock out because it's not getting any fucking rest. And so I genuinely don't have any, like, soundproofing the 2 walls, like, there's not much else. And it's not just like sound, it's light, it's action, it's a whole bunch of things. So, and people know, like, you gotta be a complete brain dead moron to not have known that you were, like, interrupting a motherfucker's sleep. Because I know when I'm doing it. I can hear the shuffling. I can hear when people, like, behind doors. These people are behind doors, so I have no, like, I already know that they can hear. And so it's come to a point where I've exhausted all my options. I've exhausted all the ears that care to listen and that will actually do anything to change their behavior. And I guess it's your turn for now. It's definitely going to impact the way that I show up, though, in life in general, if I don't start getting any quality sleep. Because as you can tell, I had to do this whole look and, like, really force myself to look presentable in order to do this, because if I didn't, I would probably look really freaking drowsy and I just got out of war. So I definitely have to have different ways of, like, keeping myself awake during the day, because without it, there's no way. There's no shot that I've gotten quality sleep even. And 9 times out of 10 when I wake up, the sleep thing says that it's just okay. And so, 11 interruptions last night. I think yesterday I had about 14 interruptions during, sleep. And so it's just really taxing. But I also have these memos, and they have my address on them, so I obviously can't show them. But I have memos that show, like, all the different times there's a bump in the night and it always spikes. The sound always spikes. I did one for last night, and right as it started, and I want to try to play that out, but this is moments of quiet, and then it'll go right back to the bump, and then it's just really toxic. And this is actually pretty freaking tame compared to, the usual. But yeah, it tells me every morning how it's been for me, and it just isn't looking any better. So if you're ever wondering, when you look at me like, hey, oh, okay, so yes, last night it was 11 wake-ups. Yes, 11 wake-ups. I genuinely don't know how that's fucking possible for anybody to live through. I don't know anybody that could. Most of the people I know are very light sleepers, outside of, like, one person I know. And so they wouldn't be able to deal. But that is pretty much reoccurring every night. It's really unfortunate. I've talked about it. It's not going to change. And it's not something that is even registered as a problem. But, if it's not someone else, how on earth would they be able to see what you're talking about? At least I can. But, it's just so impossible for people, especially when they feel like they already are, doing one thing. If, it's a weird logic that I don't quite understand, probably because I'm not getting any sleep, right? But yeah, that is the case. I would show you, but I would have to, like, break my arm. But yeah, 33 minutes out of an hour or 2 that you need to function every night. Last night, it was 26, and then the night before that it was exactly 40. Yeah, I mean, I genuinely don't know what else to do outside of, talk about it here, but it's just really crazy. I just also wanted to let you know, if you notice, like, me slowing down, me just not doing as much, is because I don't have any energy. Like, literally, I'm trying to convince you that I do with this, like, face that I put on, but, like, nah. I'm like, after I get up, I could literally go for another, like, 8 hours for sure. It's just really unfortunate because this also, it happens during the semester when I need my brain to focus for school, to be present in classes and talk to these PhDs who always hit me with compounded questions, and I'm sitting there sounding like I don't know shit because I'm not getting any sleep. I stopped smoking. I stopped doing as much alcohol. I stopped engaging in a lot of that stuff because I'm like, well, if I'm going to be deprived of sleep, well, I can't be doing drugs. That's not, that doesn't actually even put you to sleep. It just knocks you out. Like, no. And so now that I did that, it's literally just me and some edibles occasionally, because I don't even like taking edibles like that every day. Who can survive off an edible every day? I mean, maybe, but not I. So this is with a sober mind. I'm not even able to really come to you appropriately, and it's really unfortunate. It's the new year. Nobody wants to start off their shit like this, but that's probably why I'm talking about it, because I said it's been over a year. So yeah, it's just really sad. But I know that it's weird because back in the day when I did have a door and walls, I would barely be able to hear people come in. So it's like I would be shook when I heard certain things pop off in the house because I'm like, wow, they were home? Like that kind of shocks me. But yeah, I'm gonna let you look at the Lucky Charms girl because she's cool. She's my favorite. That's why she got more in her picture. The rainbow, the little pixies and stuff like that. Very cutesy. I really hope that you can get rest for me, and yeah, be a cool and have a cool day, week. I'm so sorry. I feel so shitty not being able to like have a brain for you. But yeah, when I stop talking and whatever is left, I'll just voice over. But I wanted to show you my face because it's been a while since I did it like that way too. But yeah.